So do you find that when you walk long distances, run long distances, that your knees start to hurt, especially on the front part of your knees? Maybe your lower back starts to hurt and even your neck and shoulder hurt. What if I told you that what could be causing that problem are the shoes that you're wearing? Now, I know most of you probably have running shoes, walking shoes. Let's dig into that. Let's figure out what's going on there. Hey, everybody, don't forget, I've got my book is still on sale on Amazon for just 15 bucks. Go to Amazon, check this out. I'm telling you, this book is like a manual. It's going to answer a lot of questions about your movement, about stretching, even about nutrition. And we'll start talking about why some of the treatments that you tried really haven't worked that well. So go to Amazon, get this book, read it, leave me a review. I would love to see that happen. Let's get you back to where you're moving like you're supposed to, regardless of your age. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. Today, we're going to talk about shoes. Now, I know that there's tons of shoes on the market. There's walking shoes, running shoes, golfing shoes, biking shoes. I mean, all kinds of shoes on the market for pretty much anything we could imagine doing. The number one thing I see with most people, especially when they're runners and walkers who walk long distances, is that they start to develop knee pain. And typically it's in the front part of the knee, most of the time just underneath the kneecap. What happens there is that when you wear the traditional shoe, where it has a thicker sole, it has arch supports in it, heel supports in it, it changes the way you walk naturally. Now, most of us we've only learned how to walk when we were 2 years old. I'll get this out in a minute. But my point is that at 2 years old, we were taught how to walk by people who didn't necessarily walk right either, but they did the best that they could. And so as we've grown up, when we start to look at the foot and we look at the lower leg, people started to design shoes because it fit a niche. Your arches hurt, your heels hurt, your toes hurt. So by developing shoes to help take away those symptoms and those pains, people then thought that that was the way that the foot and the shoe had to work together so that they could walk without pain. The sad part is over time, they'll develop an issue where they cannot walk barefoot at all on any surface. And so today you'll hear many doctors say to their patients, never walk barefoot on a hard surface. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm 65 years old and I walk on hard surfaces barefoot all the time. And it's never been a problem. In fact, two of my clients, one was from South Africa, had made the comment to me that when she came here 10 years ago, it was the first time she'd ever heard of plantar fasciitis or sore arches because in her village, they all ran barefoot. So let's dig into this and see what's going on there. So when you start looking at the foot and the calves, your calves have four muscles in the back of the calves. You have three major muscles in the shins, and you've got muscles in between the two bones in the lower leg. Those calf muscles control the foot vertically when you're walking and running, laterally for balance, and rotationally as you rotate your body. Now, many times if you're playing golf or tennis or baseball, coaches may talk about rotating your hips, but that rotation in your hips literally starts at your ankles and feet and go up. And so if your calves are tight, your hamstrings are tight, your feet are bound by thick sole shoes, you cannot get the rotation. And by trying to just force the hips, you may wind up with low back pain or shoulder pain out of that, depending on the sport that you play. So what we want to talk about is what's going on there. So as I said earlier, with the calves, you got the calves with the four muscles on the back, the three shin muscles, and the muscles between the bones. But in your foot, you have 33 joints, 29 muscles, and 26 bones. And so when you look at the foot and the way it is made up, the arch of your foot is actually the shock absorber to your body. So when we step to make our next step, we should step on the whole foot. Now there's a great video about this. Dr. Dan Lieberman at Harvard Medical School did a video on barefoot running. And I would say to you, look it up on Google, go check it out, because you'll see that he had a young man running on a treadmill and running sneakers. And when he was running in the sneakers, he was hitting heel and then toe. That's what I always thought we were supposed to do. But what he found out was that when he had the young man take the shoes off and run barefoot, he was hitting on the whole foot. Now, the importance of that is that when you hit on the whole foot, the arch then can flex, which will protect your knees and hips and back and work properly. The thicker heel on the running shoe literally is what caused him to run heel toe, because His brain knew that his heel was protected by the extra sponges. But when you run on where you push off on the back foot and you hit on the whole foot, now the arch absorbs the impact. Plus, the back foot is propelling, pushing you forward versus the front foot pulling you forward. You'll reduce the risk of head forward posture. That thicker sole on the shoe, now I realize the shoe companies will tell you that it makes your feet comfortable, and that is a true statement. The problem is when the soles are too thick, the ankle cannot bend. And if the ankle cannot bend, you cannot push yourself off from the rear foot. So I wear shoes that are made by a company called Xero. That's Xero. And the reason I wear these is because they really match up to my feet. See how my shoe bends here? If a shoe cannot bend this way, you should not be wearing it. Imagine with your ankle here, if my shoe can bend, you see now my ankle can bend with the movement of my foot. I have a wider toe box here. When I step down on my foot, my toes are too widen so that I can have better balance. If I wear a pointier toe shoe, I'm more likely to get things like bunions and Morton's neuromas. I want a wider toe box so my toes can spread when my feet hit the ground, and then they're lightweight and comfortable, so I'm not carrying a lot of weight with me. You can check this out. Just go to Xero.com. You'll see they have tons of styles, and yes, I am an affiliate for them, but the point is that shoes like this is what we were designed to wear. What we've done in the past is literally put our feet into a cast. And when the foot gets there, the muscles atrophy. When they atrophy, you can't have your good balance when you are older. And as an athlete, you're more susceptible to knee injuries and hip injuries and back injuries because your feet aren't able to work the way it's supposed to. So that's the real key to what I'm saying to you today. The shoe is really important. And I have to tell you, those shoes that you see out there people wear with really thick soles and they're multiple colors and they look really cool, most of the people I work on with things like plantar fasciitis or sore arches wear those kind of shoes because they think that it's the thicker sole that will reduces the pain in their feet, which in some cases it does. However, that also causes a problem in the calf, then it causes a problem in the knee, and in their cases, it's putting pain into the heel of their foot. And what we want to do with that is stop that so that you can use your feet, use the muscles in your feet, and when you walk correctly, you can stop having things like head forward posture and rounded shoulders. When a person walks, you really should push off the back foot and catch yourself with the front foot. And if you do that correctly, you're going to stand straight. I worked on a doctor who was in his early 70s, and he was getting calluses on the outside of his big toes. I changed the way he walked, got him walking correctly, and even though he'd been getting these calluses shaved off for 2 or 3 years, within 3 months, this doctor no longer needed to shave those calluses off. And he was able to actually start walking straighter by doing that. So practice it. I've got other videos here that will talk about walking. I've got videos that will show you things about doing stretches with your calves and so forth. Check those out, do those videos, and I'm telling you, change your shoes. Find a shoe that bends in the middle, and if you find it like that, your feet are going to love you. Check it out, try it. I hope you enjoyed this last video. Be sure to click on the video here to my left and enjoy.